Hello, everyone, and welcome to episode 42 of the Yarnivore podcast. Do not adjust your volumes. Well, adjust your volume as necessary. Do not think that my voice... I am sick. As I posted in the RAV group last week, I was very sick. This is actually me recovered. Recovered. As we all may know, if I get sick, I get really sick, and it takes a lot longer for me to kick out the jams. So... it's been a week of... I basically couldn't do anything till about Wednesday. Until about Wednesday, I was useless. I was pretty much... But now I'm getting back to normal-ish. I'm super tired, though. I went to the chiropractor this morning, and I did some running around errands, had some lunch, and here I am recording. It's about 12:15, and I am friggin' pooped. I'm ready to, curl up under a blanket and go back to bed. But first, let's record a podcast. If you can put up with my voice. I mean, I understand if you can't, you need to go away. But hey, if you're willing to truck through it with me, then we're all good. Join in the fun. Episode 42. I'm Sadie. I think I said that. Blue Rune on Ravelry. Sadie Rune on Twitter and Instagram. Our Ravelry group is Yarnivore. Come over and join the boards. Just a little administrative note here. The Canada Cal did close at the end of August there, and I know I'm supposed to be drawing prizes today, but that's not going to happen today. That's going to happen next week because there's only so much I can handle, and I didn't pick out the prizes yet. I will do that. I will do that, and I will draw next week for the winners, so please tune in then. I'm just going to jump right on into the show proper. I have a finished object. Shall we start with that? See if I can put it on. I made a sockhead hat. Everybody and their brother has already made one. I made the regularly slouchy version. Kind of looks like... yeah. Giant green one, too. I'm hoping it'll be good for the winter, which is not as brutal here as it would be up in Canada. But here's the thing. Some days I just don't feel up to dealing with being a girl and having hair. And on those days, there are hats. Except I have to have them so that they have a little bit of hair coming out somewhere. You have to be able to see some bangs or something. Otherwise, I look like a boy. Or at least I think I look like a boy. Whether or not you think I look like a boy with moon face, it's up to you. It's my own personal opinion, unless it's like a tam or super slouch. So this one seems to be okay. And I made it in like a week. Because, of course, I was out of it. But mindless stockinette does come in handy for that. And there's no way I'm going to have good hair after that. There's just no way. My bangs are going to be thrashed, so whatever. My husband's like, this isn't a hat. This is insane. My husband does not believe that a hat should ever be this big. I knitted on a 3mm needle, which was promptly broken following completion. Which sucks because it was a new needle. But it could not withstand the weight of my husband. That's what you get for using wooden needles. So I did it on 3mm. I did a magic loop. This is out of Dragonfly Fibers Gin, DJINN. So that's Gin sock in the Reluctant Dragon colorway, which is a gorgeous green. This is an MCN base. It's an 80-10-10, which I also don't want to put on my feet because cashmere on my feet makes me feel ridiculous. There are so many other places to put cashmere that on my feet just doesn't seem right. The only downfall to this is, holy crap, were my hands green when I worked on this. Like, I had to make sure I worked on it, and then I had to go wash my hands because they would literally turn like bright green. My fingers were bright green. So I'm going to soak it, and like it doesn't need to be blocked, but I want to soak and pull out all the color I can. I'm not sure if it's a setting issue or if it's just that there's that much color left in it, like it wasn't properly rinsed. I don't know. Having said that, I mean, it's a gorgeous color of green. There's nothing wrong with the color. The green with like hints of brown. I just got really pissed off with how green my hands were. So it will be, and it'll have its own bath. It's not going in with anything else, because unless I had something green, but I don't. I have nothing green to block. Like, I just went out on a limb. I'm not usually a green person. That is not my color palette of choice. But that was my finish, which is actually listed as a whip. I didn't update. I did write show notes for last week, and I just never got around to it. The husband also got off early last week, and I felt like poop, and I didn't sound very good. Like, I sounded worse than Tom Waits. So it is what it is. Up next, I saw some work in my, I think this is bird leg bags. Is this bird leg bags? Oh, sure. Catch the yarn in the zipper, why don't you? That's my own dang fault. Yeah, it is. It's a bird leg bags bag. I worked on, and there goes my waste yarn that I don't need for this project anyway. I worked on my socks, my pebbles. I want to call them peebles, because I just think that would be funny. Like, pibbles. Pibbles or peebles, but the Pebbles sock by Mina Phillip, Mina86 on Ravelry, knitting expat on the interwebs, where she is known for her knitting podcast. I am using a US 1 2.25 millimeter needle, and I am using a Gales Art sock blank. It has a very minimal amount of definition going on there. Like, it's hard to picture, and it's hard to show up on the camera here. There you go. There are little pearl bumps here, there, and everywhere, but they kind of fall into the background, which is why I kind of like it. Now, she does have it written with a German short row. I don't do short row heels. They don't fit me very nicely. The Fish Lips Kiss heel I can make work, and an Afterthought heel I can make work, but for the most part, give me my heel flap. Really? Just give me the flap. So I'm doing that. I'm down the foot. And I have in my notes here that Sinista2 Smiles asked me to explain sock blanks a bit better. And that I can do. Oh, that I can do. So this is being knit from sock blank. It's Gales Art sock blank. Single knit sock blank. In the Brass Octopus colorway. And for those of you who don't know, a sock blank is a giant piece of machine knitted fabric in sock weight. Some of them are double knit, so that means there's two strands at the same end, so when you unravel them, you can knit two at a time. This is a single. I only use singles so far, and so as I'm knitting, I'm unraveling. So that these cool designy things break up, and they look like the purple splotches in here, which is the cool part. Sock blanks, if they're like the Andre Sue kinds, or like this kind where you've got really defined things going on, are usually painted, hand painted, where it's just dyed. Like, for instance, the portion that doesn't have anything on it, it's just dyed. That's just dyed sock blank. But what makes it a sock blank is that it's sock yarn that's been knit into a giant piece of fabric, which has then been dyed. Now, dyers, being one, I know we buy these pre-made. They come blank, sock blank blanks, if you will, and then we dye them up and sell them. But basically, it's just machine knitted. It's almost like a scarf, like a machine knitted scarf, and one end will unravel easy, one end won't. The one end that unravels easy is the end you knit from. If you don't like knitting with yarn that's been previously knit or kinky yarn, you can't unwind it, wash it, and skein it, and it's a total hassle. But if you don't like knitting with kinky yarn, then I don't recommend doing sock blanks. The kink does stay in it a bit. It does change the texture, as you can kind of see there. You can see the texture. That's the bottom of the foot. That's just stockinette for me. And that's the difference in gauge between me and the machine that knit the sock blank. And that may or may not go away with blocking. So I hope that's a little better of an explanation. Sock blanks are also really easy to carry around. What's the fad right now is to knit from sock blanks. This is the second one I've done. The first one I did, I gave away to a friend. They're fun. I like Gales. Gales are my favorite, aside from my own. I haven't gotten my hands on an Andre Sue knits one. I wouldn't mind, but it's been a while since I've been in an F5 war to get something, and I am a little reticent with just how much crap I have in my house to be doing that. Having said that, when I'm sick like this, and I'm just like laying there and going, okay, there's an update in like 5 minutes, I could totally do this. Because that's about all you can do when you're sick. So maybe I'll get one, I don't know. That is sock blanks though. I hope that's a better explanation. The other thing that's awesome love is do I still have a picture up here? I do. I'm so glad I printed out this one picture because it served me so well. The True Friend by Vera Valmaki, which is a boxy-ish sweater that looks somewhat like that. And I really like the color palette she used in general. I just wanted to make it a little more mine. So I am doing mine out of Tosh Eurosock, I believe. Yes, Tosh Eurosock, which is 100% superwash merino, in the Murakami colorway. That is my white contrast, or my speckled white contrast. No way I'm doing solid white, but it's speckly and very beautiful and knits up lovely. And there is no bird. I am no bird, which is my Jane Eyre colorway. Knitter's Nightmare in the Baddie sock base, which is an 80/20. So it's a little sprucier. Springier is a little. If you look at the difference from my two working yarns here, you can see that the Euro sock is a very fine yarn of many plies, whereas the Baddie is a thicker 2-ply. And this is very hard to show you because you knit the front and the back and the sleeves all at the same time. Like, I can tell you I've made progress, but it looks exactly the same as you saw last time because it's all bunchy on the needles. Having said that, I mean, I've gotten pretty progressed in the stripes here. I love how it's coming out. There we go. I am loving it. That makes them worthwhile because these rows are getting long. I think I have 10 more row repeats, 10 more sets of rows. Maybe I'll edit that out, I don't know. I want the big box, anyway. If all of a sudden there was a jump right there, it's because I swore and I caught myself and I'm going to try and edit it out. I want the big box. I want it to be comfy. I love the aesthetic of it, and I'm okay with wearing the big box. Bring back the big box 80s. I'm okay with that. Because I want to be comfy. I don't like tight things. You know, I should have been born, so I would have been around in the 60s. Because I could have rocked like the Mama Cass Dashiki. Like nobody's business. Nobody's business. Would have been me and the Dashiki Man. And this is my Pam bag, which is superior to many bags. I have also, in my Fat Squirrel Fibers bag, with the kitties with the yarn, this adorable little bag. So delicate and demure. I finished one of the hedgerow mittens that I'm making for my husband. This is out of, oh, and I'm using, I believe it's 3.25 or 3.5 millimeter needles for True Friend. This is out of Strong Sock, another Crafty Girl Strong Sock in the Suiting Up colorway, which is the character Diva from Overwatch, if you play. And so I bought this yarn because my husband wanted, when I went to SSK, he wanted two colorways. He wanted the Junkrat and the Diva, because those are his colorways, and because those are who he plays. So I asked him what he wanted me to knit for him, and he said fingerless mitts. Because I have knit him fingerless mitts, but apparently they are not long enough. He gets a breeze up his sweater or whatever, and it bugs him. So I finished the first one. It is a little loose on me. That's because I have this. Sorry. That's because I have smaller hands than him. But this is the Hedgerow Mitts pattern. It's free on Ravelry. It's got some weird increases and decreases going on, but it does fit and it looks right. And that's about all I care about. I'm using a 2.5 millimeter needle and knitting the smaller size, even though it says to go, like, because I'm using fingering weight, so I'm kind of playing around with it, just because it does say that if you want to knit the male size, you go up to a sport weight. But whatever, I went up a needle size. It all evens out in the end. I haven't started the second one, but the first one's done. The second one will get done. But yeah, he can't wear it in uniform, so I mean, it's subjective. Like, if he's not going to be around, he's not going to be able to wear it on the ship. Yeah. And lastly, we're going to get serious here for a minute. The last thing I'm working on. I forget which day it was. It was a day this weekend. I think it might have been Saturday. I got a text from Dawn, Knit and Wolf, who said, I just saw on Instagram that Megan from Cyborg Craft Room passed away. And I was like, what? Like, no. And so I went and looked around, and I texted a couple of friends, and I was like, okay, so this is real. She actually did pass away, which is very sad. She was young. She was the same age as me. We shared we shared a birthday month. She was May 4th, and I'm May 26th. And we both lived in Bloomington, and I ran into her a lot, be it at shows or because we'd run into each other at the post office. And she was just really, really cool and sarcastic, and we used to both clerk, and we were always on late at night, and because we didn't sleep very well. It was really sad to hear she passed away. Not sure what happened there. It was sudden, and my thoughts go to her family. Subsequently, Birdleg Bags, who's friends with her, started the For Megan knit-along. And I thought, okay. I wasn't going to start a new project by any means, but I felt that this one needed to happen. So I dug out my Cyborg Craft Room, what I have in my stash, and I decided that I'm going to make a garter goodness, which is a huge, huge shawl. It's basically a Schlanket by Stephen West. I've already had the pattern, And so I cast on, and I actually put some stripes in here. They're very subtle, but I put some stripes in of the next color that's to come. This is how far I've gotten. My main first color is called Box of 96 on the Sparkleite base, which is the sparkly one. My second colorway that's going in is the Spirograph Nebula. The third colorway that will be going in is Impromptu Dance Party. And then my ending border, and this is old school. You know you got some old Cyborgs Craft Room when you got the ones that were done on the paper with the stickers. And this is Stellar. So I've got the Sparkleite base and the Soccolite base, and then I've got I've got one of the Squishalite and then two of the Soccolites. And I'm going to be doing a Garter Goodness, and it is going to be massive, and it may take me a while, but damn it, it's for Megan. And I'm doing it on 3.5 millimeter needles. I think it calls for 3.75. I couldn't find mine, so I said screw it, I'm sick. And it works out nicely anyway. It looks good to me. See, if I hold it back here, you can see the stripes where I put in the Spirograph Nebula. There's three stripes in there. And then I'm just gonna join them as such. I'm playing around because I can. I do love that I can hide the ends in the I-cord edging. It does come in handy. So do come and join the knit along. It's an impromptu knit along. There are no rules. There's no nothing. Just make sure you knit with Megan's yarn and celebrate Megan. So that is the last thing I cast on. And just briefly, since I talk about the books I've read, I started and finished this. It's called Cruel Beautiful World. It's by Carolyn Levitt. This is the advanced reading copy. It goes on sale in October, I want to say. It goes on sale in October. Did they tell me in here? No, this is just a thingy. It is a really awesome book. I really liked it. I read it in like a day or two. Oh, 10/4/16. That's when it's coming out. So you should definitely pick this up. It's about a girl who leaves home. She actually runs away from home with her boyfriend, who ends up being a complete lunatic who is abusive and whatnot. This all takes place in the 60s. Kind of parallels the whole Charles Manson thing. And then you've got the fact that her sister's left behind. They're being raised by this distant relative of theirs, and you find out the backstory on the distant relative. It's all really quite insane and convoluted and wonderful, and it's so well written. It's by Carolyn Levitt. It is not a long book. It's 300 and some pages. Like I said, according to Lily King, who wrote Euphoria, which is a book I have on my thing ready to read, she says it's backdropped by the Vietnam War and the Manson murders. Cruel Beautiful World is a fast-moving page-turner about the naivete of youth and the malignity of power. Okay, I don't think it's about malignity of power, but whatever. Levitt explores with a keen eye the intersection of love, family, and the anxiety of an era. It does have a certain amount of that. It was just really, I really liked it. I really went through it fast, and it's got some rave reviews from some cool people, like the author of The Orphan Train. And yeah. So pick that up in October, I guess. 10, that's October. I am currently reading, I've got 3 books on the go. I've got one that is complete and utter trash. It's a pulp thriller mystery thing. And I got one that is a literature, classic Russian literature. Dostoevsky, I believe. And then an academic one about an insane asylum for Indians that I just started. That is very intense, but highly worth it. I also just heard, I'm not sure if this interests anybody, but I just read through Facebook post of one of my friends that Gord Downey, the lead singer of the Tragically Hip, who of course is a very amazing man in and of himself, he is releasing an album and a graphic novel based on, it's a concept album and graphic novel based on the life of a boy who escapes residential school and dies of exposure on his way home in northern Canada, which I am very much looking forward to. The proceeds of that particular album and book sale will be going to the Truth and Reconciliation Fund, which is a big deal up in Canada. So yeah, go check that out and learn more about it when it's coming out and all of that good stuff. It's actually the story, the Heritage Minute. If you're from Canada, there's a Heritage Minute. It's the story the Heritage Minute was based off of. And that's all I really have to report for this week. I will try and be better next week. And I will be drawing the prizes next week. Bye.